Hello friends, Om Namah Shivaya. Welcome to Dots of Destiny. Today's video is about the transit of Jupiter into Cancer, the dip that Jupiter is going to take in the month of Cancer, in the month of October, from immediately after Diwali, the festive season ending more or less this time. Very early after the mid of October, I think it's 18th of October, that Jupiter will be taking a dip into Cancer. This dip of Jupiter into Cancer is just 1.5 months, or nearly like that. You can take 1.5 months of transit from 18th of October to 5th of December. Then Jupiter will retrograde back to Punarvasu in the Gemini sign. But this transit of Jupiter will be quite profound, because as if the planet has made up its mind to get into its point of exaltation, went into it some 0 degrees some minutes and immediately returns back, so that something is less and something is left to be done yet. Punarvasu, as we know, this whole phenomena is happening in Punarvasu. Now Punarvasu, we know that this nakshatra makes us do things again and again in a different level of beginnings. The beginning that will happen now after Jupiter dips into Cancer and comes back to Gemini area, that will be very different. You will take things of that area, the Gemini, Cancer, wherever it lies in your horoscope, in a very different way, and this time you will have the knowledge about it. That is the dip of Jupiter into Cancer. It will deliver you a bit of knowledge. I cannot say the full of it. Now see, as we know, Jupiter is moving fast forward, atichari, whatever you say. There are different levels of this Jupiter transit in Cancer, which is a very important transit, no doubt about that. Jupiter, the Guru, in its point of exaltation, 3 times it is going. This year once, from 18th October to 5th December. Next year 2026, again it will go to Cancer from June till the end of October. Then it will go to Leo. Again it will come back to Cancer in the year 2027 beginning and have a conjunction with Ketu. Now 3 things will have some similar but some dissimilarity in their results also, because the nakshatra will change when Jupiter is in. As of now, we are just concentrating on Punarvasu, new beginnings in different layers of new beginning, and how the beginnings are. Because see, you can make a beginning, but whether it is aptly the right one, who will decide? We have to have the guidance. Now, when Jupiter is in exaltation, it has its Sthan Bal, right? When a planet has its Sthan Bal, it is sure, and we are sure about that area. At least we can solve the problem if we get the knowledge. So Sthan Bal of a planet and Digbal of a planet is very important. I have seen that again and again. If the planet is in debilitation also, suppose Sun is in Libra in the 10th house, still that Sun has a very profound significance, because Digbal of the Sun lies maximum in the 10th house. Similarly, Sthan Bal is when a planet is in its exaltation. There is a maximum point of Sthan Bal. Now here, when Jupiter is gaining that, then Jupiter will be able to deliver certain results in a very decisive way. And when you get the knowledge, you'll be able to progress in that area better and surer. Now, this is not the end of the story. What is happening in this starting from 18th October to 5th of December is that this Jupiter is in trines with Mars and Saturn. So the whole of Moksha Trikon is active. Very, very important time. That is even more profound, because 2 other major planets, Saturn and Mars, they are oil and fire. Saturn is in Pisces and Mars will come into Scorpio. So the three watery signs are active again in the end of the year. And this brings in a different story, because whenever the planets are in trines to each other, in the horoscope, natal horoscope, definitely they have to support each other. If it is in transit, then also the prediction goes in that way. Somewhere Jupiter and Jupiter, Saturn, Mars will play a role in the trikon, whichever trikon it is there in your horoscope. Maybe dharma trikon, maybe artha trikon, maybe kama trikon, maybe moksha trikon, but it will generate some very, very important result in these area. That is for 100% these results are going to come, whichever dasha you are running. That is why this transit is so important. Later, when Jupiter next year comes into again exaltation in Cancer in the 1st of June, again that's a different story. But this story is very, very important in the last 2 months of the year, and how each of the ascendants will get some results regarding this trine of Saturn, Jupiter and Mars. Mars in its own sign, Jupiter in exaltation and aspecting Pisces, which is its own sign where Saturn is. And Saturn, by the way, by the end of November, this journey, whatever this trine thing is happening, this is starting from nearly the end of October. 1 month, 1.5 month of full this trine thing you will be getting. And Saturn by the end of November will become direct 0° Pisces, and it will start again the journey. So that is the whole scenario. A new process, a new beginning will start from here, and whichever area this is happening, that I'll talk about the ascendants, it will show you some definitely new path in the beginning and the ending of 2025 continuing to the beginning of 2026. So let us jump into the ascendants and see what this big transit has in store for us. Let's see. Aries ascendant, this transit of Jupiter is happening in your 4th house. Saturn is in the 12th house and Mars, your Lagna Lord, will be in the 8th house. The point of time Jupiter will reaches its exaltation point and staying there just 1.5 months. Mars will reach Scorpio and Saturn will be in the 12th house. Now, Jupiter being your 12th Lord and the 9th Lord, when it is aspecting the Lagna Lord, you will be able to take decisions regarding 9th house matters, your higher journeys, your higher education, your dharma, going to pilgrimages, and also the 12th house matters, which Saturn must have put you on a confusion or being very delayed or stuck. This Jupiter in the 4th house will make you take decisions regarding your land, going to foreign lands or coming back from foreign lands, regarding the expenses that you are going to go through if you go with either of the process. Many people now call up and they say that they want to come back from the foreign lands, and many students want to go also. When both the cases are there, this Jupiter in the 4th house in exaltation, which is your dharma lord, 9th and 12th lord in 4th house, you can understand it is all about distance journeys, your motherland, your higher studies, how you deal with your family, and this is a very great time to take such decisions which may have been stuck and you were just thinking in a process, because you may be applying for to get the visas to go on for the process. Many people, those who are doing the students that they are doing higher studies, they are asking me like where, when, what is the great time. This is the time for applying, because when Lagna Lord is in the 8th house, Mars is now at that point of time, I'll give the dates over there. Mars will be in the sign of Scorpio in the 8th house. Whenever Lagna Lord goes into the 8th house, understand there a transformation is evident. You cannot but deny it. And Jupiter aspecting this point, the Scorpio and the Pisces, will make it a little easier. how easier the decision that had been pending, or you were thinking whether you will be, if you take the decision also, what is the repercussions, or will it go in your favor, or whatever the clarity that was missing is very much seen, will be given by this transit. And that is why this Jupiter's transit in Cancer is very important. It will show you the path ahead in these matters. Obviously, your dasha matters in what kind of things you are dealing with at this point of time. But here the moksha trikon, which is the original moksha trikon of Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, becomes totally active. It is very good for some spiritual sadhana also, if you are in that kind of a mode. Because these also I get queries, I want to go to this place and have some sadhana, do some sadhana at my home, whether it is, yes, it is very much, you can go with that. Long distance journeys, moving out from your comfort zone, whenever I have seen Jupiter in the 3rd and 4th, because it is back and forth now in the 3rd and 4th house, you can or you have to make a choice whether you stay at the place where you are or you have to move, because this is a movement oriented Jupiter and this is your 9th lord also. So if movement is, I think movement is needed, not if, you have to do it and you have to follow the path. Yes, changes will be there, because Mars will from here, Scorpio, go into Sagittarius by the end of the year and then into Capricorn. So nonetheless, the journey of Mars is good forward ahead. So that's why this decision will be made easier. Saturn, the 12th house, will have an aspect of Jupiter. Now whatever expenditures, if you have to take a loan for these, the expenditures that you have to incur in the process, you will be judiciously able to deliver them or deal with them. That is why Jupiter in exaltation is so important at this point of time, aspecting the Saturn and the Mars, which gives you clarity regarding your Karam Karak also, because sometimes Saturn was in Pisces, and because it is your 10th and 11th lord, fails to give you the clarity, because Saturn is a rough and a slow planet. You make some mistakes. When Jupiter's aspect is in its own house where Saturn is there, then you will be able to get some clarity regarding your 10th and 11th house also. So optimal use of this transit, why this video I'm making actually a bit ahead of time, because that is where whatever decisions you are pending at this point of time, keep it a little on hold and wait till the little bit after Diwali time, till the beginning of Christmas time. This is the area where you will be able to take these decisions, and then you begin the process again in Punarvasu. As I said, Punarvasu is many new beginnings from the month of January. So best of luck for the Aries ascendant. Taurus ascendant. Taurus, this transit of Jupiter is happening in the 3rd house. So 11th lord and 8th lord coming into the 3rd house. Obviously, see, 3rd house is a very active house. Jupiter in 3rd house is it will give you more boost to your desires. Karma house Jupiter. Though Jupiter, in any house it doesn't work that bad actually, but in 3, 7 and 11, which is the axis that your Jupiter, Mars, the 7th lord will be in 7, and the 11th house is occupied by Saturn. So here your desires will increase and you have to run hither and thither for these desires to take place. 3rd house is not a sitting back house. It will make you do things. Now what are the things? It can be your the desire of money making, your desire of shifting to a different place, your elder sibling and you, because it is the 8th lord, can be, see, from the house of Sagittarius, Jupiter is coming 8th. Sudden things related to the 8th house can have a catch over here. So all in all, the 3rd house of Jupiter is not excellent, I'll say, but definitely Jupiter, being Jupiter in its Thanbal, in its exaltation, will give away certain things to you. Definitely, maybe as simple as that, clarity regarding your 7th house area, where Mars will be in Scorpio at this point of time. The essence of this video is that when such a big planet like Jupiter is coming into exaltation for 1.5 months, and at that time only Mars is in Scorpio and Saturn is in Pisces, Jupiter is aspecting these two areas, it is understood that some kind of stuck up energy is there in these two areas. Now, what is about 7th house? Is partnership at any level. It can be simply your life partner. It can be simply marriage, which can happen, or how to deal with the 7th house things when Jupiter aspects. A change will happen, obviously. Mars in Scorpio in its own house in the 7th house cannot give you a thing without a change, because Scorpio is a sign of change. Mars becomes very intense here. You could have been very possessively, attached to this area. Jupiter will give you the guidance how to deal with it than being ultra possessive about it and making a mess out of it. 11th house, desires, name, fame, networkings, Jupiter aspecting its own house. Saturn could have put you in a little bit of tight spot. Jupiter aspects this area from its point of exaltation in the 3rd house, will give you clarity regarding 11th house matters, regarding the people you're interacting with, regarding the projects that you're taking, any startups also. Yes, Taurus people, because 3rd house is also it's a very vibrant house. It is house of startup, starting something new. Punarvasu is a new nakshatra of beginnings at different level. That is also one point that can very much start in your life. It is I cannot say it is a bad time. It is a good transit, not very good, but good in your desire houses, making you understand that whatever, because see, when Saturn is in the 11th house, many people, Taurus people will go for startups. They will have long-term desires. That is how Saturn behaves in the 11th house. Now this clarity, Jupiter aspecting this Saturn, will give the Saturn that area a lot of clarity, where to begin, with whom to begin, how to mitigate the path, how to cross the path. So these things will be taken care of. So nonetheless, it's a Kama Trikon transit. The desires will be uplifted, and again Jupiter goes back to the 2nd house. Your monetary things will be very, very prominent. After it again dips back to Gemini. So you get the clarity here, work on that, and then again you come back in the next half of the year, maybe from June, if you have to go for anything new. That is the dip of Jupiter back into Gemini from January to May will make you do these things and start the things regarding the 3rd, 7th and 11th house in a new way, in a new glimpse, in a new profound way, and then you will be able to generate better results when again Jupiter comes into your 3rd house and 1st of June. So the whole synopsis of this journey of Jupiter into 1.5 months of exaltation is some newness you will get in these areas, and maybe stuck up things, maybe not. Stuck up things will clarity will come in those areas so that you can work upon them, and then you again make a new beginning. Definitely it will regarding your Kama Trikon 3, 7, 11. So it is a good transit, Taurus. Given that your Lagna Lord Venus, I'll make a video on that. Venus situation in the near term is not very good, but in the November month it will be in Libra in the 6th house. So money related, Artha Trikon, your job related matters, change of place, partner related things, all these things will be the the whole synopsis of November, December, the end of the year. Then in the new beginning, new year, new flavor will be coming with Jupiter again in Gemini and Venus making its move forward. So all the best for this transit. Gemini ascendants, Jupiter is on your Lagna, will go to a 2nd house. Now 2nd house, the 10th lord going to the 2nd house, and Mars, the sixth lord in the sixth house, Saturn is in your ninth house, sorry, 10th house. This Artha Trikon activation of 2nd, 6th and 10 obviously shows that if you're running a favorable dasha, you will be getting some upliftment in your professional area, and which can be monetary also beneficial. Even your partner, because it is the seventh lord also, can get an upliftment, but the health of the partner, wherever Sagittarius is in your horoscope, Jupiter is going 8th from that area. So health of the partner can be a little challenging, or your partner may have to move in a different area that is given to him for that, and he understands now in the next year, maybe that is what he's approached with. You have to find out a way. It is in one way really good from the sign of Pisces, from the sign of Sagittarius, because the seventh lord Jupiter will be in exaltation 8. There will be a change and a boost. So a little bit of suffering for the Sagittarius area can happen. Nonetheless, you have a Mars in this transit only. You will have Mars and Saturn in Trikon with the exalted Jupiter. Mars will be in the 6th house of competition. And as you know, Gemini people, they love competition. They are mercurial sign. They're eager for competition. Mars will be there, and you will be able to see your competitors can also be good, because 6th house lord is in the 6th. But still you have an edge over that, because Jupiter will be aspecting this area, and you will be able to find a way or a guidance through which you will be able to win against your competitors. That can be very much the case. Overall, it's a very good transit of Jupiter in the 2nd house. Good family environment, good food, good money, maybe a rise in the 10th house area, professional area. Saturn being there retrograde, it will go direct again 0 degree Pisces. You start a new journey towards the end of this year in the month of November, December, and then January. It's a whole new thing, because again Jupiter will come on your Lagna. So you begin a new process. As I said in a previous video, Punarvasu is the nakshatra of Jupiter. Jupiter is transiting in there in its exaltation, again in Gemini, back in the month of December end. It will be again a new beginning. So new beginnings are here, and for you the beginnings are good actually. So what more to say? Hope you have a good dasha running, or a favorable dasha, so that this transit gives you much out of this transit. You are able to get most of the results in a very better way. Cancer ascendants, Jupiter's exaltation is happening right on your Lagna. Cancer ascendants has been looking for a lot of solutions, especially Saturn is in your 9th house, and now Mars at the same time will come in your 5th house. Your Dharma Trikon is totally active. Understand one thing, that when Jupiter dips into your Lagna, lot of things will come into your mind, and knowledge will also come, because Jupiter will try to save you from lot of things. Especially understand one thing, 9th house Saturn, we do not want Saturn in the 9th house. It's not a great transit. Now if you are expecting greatness out of this transit, you have to work really hard. There are certain areas of Saturn. Yes, now you can say Saturn is always, it is a karma karak, but 6th house Saturn, one has to be cautious. 7th house Saturn is much better in its most Digbala position. 8th house Saturn is Ashtam Shani, again a period of caution. 9th house Saturn, obviously you are relieved of Ashtam Shani, but if you haven't learned much in the Ashtam Shani, this 9th house Saturn in your fortune house will create lot of impediments in your area. Now as Jupiter comes on your Lagna, it will be aspecting this Saturn in Pisces in its own house, and it will try to give you clarity how to move forward in your journey ahead. Sitting with the bhagya, with the fortune, and feeling something will happen out of the world will not give this transit a boost that it needs. You have to understand what is the process. If you believe in astrology, Jyotish, the light that Jupiter will put on your lagna, you have to understand what it propels you to move ahead and do. Mars also will be in the 5th house. It is not a very easy transit. You know why? Because though it's the 9th house lord on the lagna, which is very, very auspicious, no doubt about that, but it's the 6th lord also. And from Sagittarius, from the Sagittarius, it is the 8th house, that is your lagna. Some Rogran Shatru can definitely be part of your journey. Now see, I am not trying to make sound it scary, but the fact is that this exaltation of Jupiter for Cancer, Leo and some other ascendants is an eye-opener rather than, you can call it a blessing if you want. But if you feel that you are only thinking about gains, this is not a very gainful transit of Jupiter with Mars and Saturn in trines. It can be gainful if your prarabdha is good, if your 5th house lord generates good result aspected by Jupiter, enjoy it, relish it, no problem with that. But understand that the kind of transit it is giving you more knowledge than gains. That needs to be understood in this transit. So that's why Jupiter's exaltation on Cancer, though Jupiter is having Sthanbal and Digbal both, it can take you in your mind, if you are in a transferable mode, going to different places, shifting to different area, these things can also fructify in this period of time. You will be able to understand that which direction you must take so that your 9th house Saturn starts giving you better results. This is the whole essence of this transit is this. Many Cancer ascendants have been coming up, and because their expectation was such that, and especially Cancer moon, that after Ashtam Shani they will see the bright of the day. Problem is that Jyotish does not work in that way. One has to understand, yes, Ashtam Shani is very binding, and as if a lot of chains are there on your feet. Once you come out of it, the loneliness of Ashtam Shani, 9th Saturn is better but not easier. There lies the problem. Because Saturn is not wanted in the fortune house, not in the 5th house. These are not the places of Saturn. What Saturn does in these houses, it pushes you forward. It wants to make you go ahead, but then Saturn is the planet of delay. Now this Jupiter's aspect on the Saturn, and Saturn again starting his journey in Pisces from 0 degree after its retrogression is over by the end of November. It will make you start with a new and scripted journey, now better understood than the last time. Because Saturn has come from 0 degree to certain degrees it has traveled, but again it is going back to 0 degree Pisces, and now Jupiter is aspecting. So now the journey, Punarvasu, the beginning again, the beginning of Jupiter that you will start this time will be more productive than the journey that you have already covered from 29th of March to this end of November. You know, that is how the planets teach us. We cannot rush with the planets. First and foremost, most important is patience, which nowadays we lack very much with the AI world, with the social media world, with people doing a lot of things. There is no hurry. Life takes us to the point where we have to reach. We cannot hurry up the process. It doesn't happen. So this transit is a very good transit, giving you some brightened ideas and a lot of insights and knowledge, so that now you can work out on your weaknesses or what you had been thinking, whether it is right or wrong. This transit is for that. The 5th lord in the 5th house, the exalted 9th, and the 9th lord in its exaltation in the lagna, plus take care of your health because it is the 6th lord also. It can can give head challenges, it will give, because as you know, Jupiter is the point of expansion. If you are supposed to take a loan, be careful about that, because Jupiter sometimes easily gives you the loan and then you are in a tight spot, as Saturn is also in the Bhagya Dasha, and it sometimes, you know, does lot of issues because it is aspecting your Sagittarius area also. So that is why regarding all these things, be a little cautious. Health, competitors, your competitors can be as good as you in whichever field you are, because 6th Lord is on the Lagna. The competitors are also well equipped. If you are going for a, you know, educational competitive exam, or you're going for any other business or any other thing, don't underestimate your competitors. They are also, they can put challenge because they are also well equipped in the process. So have an insightful transit, have a good time, understand what Jupiter is trying to say by the end of the year, so that 2026 brings a new beginning for you and a better beginning from this year. Thank you. Leo ascendants. Leo Jupiter is transiting in the 12th house in Cancer. Now your totally Artha Trikon is, Moksha Trikon is active. So it is the watery sign of Cancer. In your 12th house, Mars will be in the 4th house, Saturn will be in the 8th house. If I say it's a very excellent transit, then I would be lying to myself, being a Leo, and to you all who are viewing me. But the thing is that how I take it, I will put it in my words in that way. When a strong planet as Jupiter is going into the 12th house, an expansive planet, the Guru, in its exaltation, it wants us to take it things in a little spiritual perspective of the thing should be taken into account. Suppose your works are not getting done and nobody is there to help you because you are running an Ashtam Shani, especially Leo moon also. Ketu is on the Lagna. You are quite in a confused state and you feel that you are bombarded from all sides, which is happening, no doubt about that. So at this time, what do you do with that? Do you rush into things and make things even more congested or even more twisted than they already are? Because you can try out that. I am going through all these things, so that's why I'm telling, but things doesn't work out in that way. If people blame you, take it, keep quiet, it doesn't matter. If people are not supporting you, doesn't matter. This is the time where it is shown that Jupiter in the 12th house, you can have good dreams also. In the dreams, you can find yourself finding solution to many answers. This is a divine transit. I cannot, for Leo ascendant moon, I cannot judge this transit on the basis of materialistic good. If you are looking for that, then that will not happen. Why I'll tell you is that the 8th lord in the 12th house, maybe you go for some expenses, though I will say to curb the expenses, but still maybe it is needed. If you are going abroad for something, for Videsh Yatra and all these things, this transit is good. But for what purpose you are going? Suppose you are going for a job, for higher studies, for research oriented things. First you have to spend money. Then only a betterment will come in that area. So money will be spent in some way or the other, and you can feel a little jittery about it, that already Ashtam Shani is panicking you with a lot of things. Ketu on the Lagna is another boost to that. But then this transit, you have to be very meditative in your mind, or think about the process. If you do not do meditation, it's all right. Just sit and think what needs to be done. What I'm trying to emphasize, it is a spiritual transit. It will bring in a lot of changes in you. You know, the Scorpio is a heart area. It will change. You will change as a person in this transit. Yes, now the percentage can be 1% to 90%, depending how much you assimilate and take it. You can go for long distance journey, change of place, change of residence. Changing residence, don't go for now taking a house or anything, because the loan can disturb you, because Saturn is in the 8th, the 6th lord in the 8th house. It can become very very difficult to waive off that loan at this point of time. Selling of houses you can do, because Mars has come into the 4th house. You can sell off things. This transit I see in a spiritual perspective. Take it in that way. If you are living far away also, or whether you're living with a lot of people, you can feel very singular and you can feel very lonely. Don't take that loneliness, bring it out, the solitariness where you enjoy this thing. Be with nature, be with your books, be with your extracurricular activities. Do the best that you can. Do not talk too much to people, do not interact too much. It will not give you much. Simple truth. So come out of that, change yourself. Once the Ashtam Shani goes, you are running a very tough phase. Though Jupiter will be aspecting this Saturn, and this Saturn will go into, now after completion of retrogression, 0 degree Pisces, start a new journey. From the end of this year, it's a new you that will come out. Still Ketu is on the Lagna, you have to be careful. When transits like this happen, Ketu on the Lagna, Jupiter in the 12th, Saturn in the 8th, Mars in the Scorpio 4th, things are bound to change. You are going for a big haul transformation. Whether it is seen outside or not, you know you are going for a transformation. You will come out strong, no doubt about that. This is the journey which will teach you the strength that you need to go and need to have. So best of luck, Leo. I'm looking forward to this transit myself. What kind of epiphany I get out of it. Hope it does well for you also. Virgo ascendants, Virgo Jupiter is transiting the 11th house of exaltation. 11th house Jupiter exaltation will give you certain areas boosts, definitely, because monetary things can increase, partnerships can come into being, because this is your 4th lord, this is your 4th lord and your 7th lord. So these things can be favored. You wanting to buy or sell apartment, because Saturn in the 7th house usually does that. And your partnership, if you're looking for marriage, it can come through a community or your networking. New things can start. If you have some confusion regarding your 7th house matters, your Jupiter in the 11th house will be aspecting the Saturn in the 7th house, which is slow, and it tells you to take things slow. It doesn't give away things fast. No need of doing things fast. You will jump into unnecessary problems. Saturn being in the 7th, again going back to the 0 degree Pisces, end of November. Mars is also in the Trikon in your 3rd house. So Virgo people, the Mars is not a very favorable planet for you, but still it will give you the needed gusto. It will give you the needed efforts that you need to do, because 3rd house is house about efforts, your Purusharth, what you want to put, in which area you want to put. Jupiter is aspecting this Mars and it will help you. And because Jupiter is your Kendra Lord, definitely the most important house is affected would be the 7th house. From the 4th house it is going 8th. So little bit delay in property matters, or if you want to take, it can get delayed, or you want to sell, it can happen a little late. These things can happen, but it will happen because Jupiter will again come back to Gemini. So it is a good transit, no doubt about that. Main area is your 7th lord going into the 11th can bring a random shift and a very big shift in your view of the partnership that you want to go for. So that is the first thing. Second thing, Mars will be in the trines in the 3rd house. Jupiter aspecting this Mars also. Mars is your 8th lord also. Sudden change of places, maybe after marriage, maybe due to any other official thing also, sudden changes can happen, and you may have to shift base. That can also happen near the end of the year. That is also is seen if Mars Dasha or anything prominently you are running. This Saturn in the 7th house, Saturn in the 7th house is in Digbala, it's not bad, but still if you need more clarity regarding the 7th house matters, this Jupiter will help you get that. So all in all, it's a very good transit for the Jupiter in the 11th house. Make the most of it. For Libra ascendants, Jupiter's transit will in the sign of Cancer will happen in your 10th house. So the sixth lord is coming into the 10th house, with the third lord is also Jupiter. Mars will be in Trikon in the second house. It will be in transit in your second house, and Saturn will be in the sixth house. So this Artha Trikon transit of Jupiter, Mars and Saturn will definitely boost your the job front, the professional front, the competition front, and also the money making front. This transit of Jupiter can give you something better in your professional area if you had been looking for that long. That can happen at this point of time from 18th of October. I'll give the dates, just look into the preface of the video when Jupiter is transiting in. This is just a dip of Jupiter into Cancer. The main transit comes next year again. So this is a 1.5 month when there is a special transit of Jupiter, Mars and Saturn in your Artha Trikon. Obviously, the second lord coming into the second house, aspected by Jupiter, Mars in the second house in Scorpio, aspected by Jupiter, the sixth lord in the 10th house, will give you some betterment in money. Sorry. Some position that, or job front, or a change of job that you had been looking for. Saturn, because it is in the sixth house and it is retrograde, it will become direct by the end of November. And this Saturn will again start from 0 degree Pisces, aspected by Jupiter in its own house. So you can understand a major overhaul, a change of the sixth house matters will happen by this transit, direct going of Saturn from 0 degree, starting again aspected by Jupiter its own house. So this is good all in all for you. Whereas for the change of profession, for gain of profession, for monetary benefits, some upliftment in the second, sixth and 10th house area is seen. Now you have to put in efforts. That is the main thing over here, because from the point of Sagittarius, Jupiter is in the 8th from the house of Sagittarius, which is your third house. So your efforts may not get a good name at this point of time. Even if you get a upliftment, it may not be appreciated to that extent, and work pressure can be more. Look after your health, because your sixth lord coming into the 10th house generates more work pressure over here, Saturn already being in the sixth house. So this is the main mode of this transit by the end of this year that is happening. So you can understand next year again Jupiter from January, it will again be in your 9th house, and definitely the different matters that you had been looking for, the Artha Trikon, the boost. I think for Libra people mostly this is a time of boosting your finances, your professional area, your change, your shift of place and all these things. And shift of place can very well happen, if not by this end year, beginning of next year, which is very much on the cards, it's seen. So these things this transit will bring in. It is a good transit definitely. Jupiter in the 10th house makes you quite though if you have also a lot of job, lot of pressure on you, still you will be able to manage it, you will be able to cope up with it. That is the best story. Relationship front over here is not very much, the main planets are not pointing too much towards it. So that's why it is a practical materialistic Artha Trikon transit for you. Take good care. For Scorpio. For Scorpio people, Jupiter transits in the 9th house in its exaltation point. Oh, that's really something to look forward to. The 5th lord in the 9th house is a great transit. You know, it's kind of a Rajyog transit. Mars being on the Lagna, Saturn being in the 4th lord in the 5th house. So the Trikon is happening in the Dharma Trikon. Mars, your Lagna lord, is on Scorpio, bringing a big change in your nature, which is a needed change. Don't be afraid of that. It's needed because it's a sixth lord also. Here you're managing certain things regarding the sixth house matters. With a Logrin Shatru, it can be simple loans, your competitors, yourself into a job area, in a situation, in competitive exams, students and all these things. It is a great boost to the personality. You're somewhere uplifted. You just feel uplifted. You cannot feel better than this. See, this is one thing about Scorpio. Now see, we can always be bickering about our present situation, but I mean, just think about it. Your fifth lord, the Purva Punya lord, comes to the Agami Punya, the fortune house, and its exaltation. And again, this will be repeated next year from 1st June to October end next year, 2026. So you already know that, right? So last point of the year, you are getting such a beautiful transit. What can I say about it? I mean, you can just feel the transit. It'll put such brightness to your aura, and take the most of it. See, this is not about, obviously you can, whenever your aura grows, you get something from the universe. You know, that is how it happens. You get a upliftment in whatever which way. Maybe your children do great. That can be the greatest, thing about it for the elderly people. You do great in examination. You go for higher studies. You go for foreign journeys. You have an upliftment. You get a guru. You get an initiation. Your fortune shines. What more do you require? There is no end to desire. But we must understand such transits do not happen for every single year. It doesn't happen. And if you ask me, the best transit of Jupiter is always in the 5th, 7th and the 9th house, because it is aspecting the Lagna. As simple. And if it is a friendly sign, then it is a icing on the cake. So Mars is a friendly sign. It is aspecting Mars, your Lagna, your 5th house, own house, Saturn being there, pushing you towards name, fame and all these things. Please have a good transit. And make the best out of this transit. Things will happen to you. Do not let it go to waste. Enjoy great transit. Thank you. Sagittarius people, this is like the Lagna Lord going into the 8th house. Now see, Jupiter is this situation happens when Lagna Lord is in exaltation in the 8th to itself. This is for Sagittarius. Now here it can generate money. First I'll talk about that, because 8th house is also a house of inheritance, legacy and all these things. If you're supposed to get anything out of that, it can come in suddenly. But obviously, because it is 8th from the Lagna, it brings a change in your perspective. And the change can be a little topsy-turvy. 8th house, as you know, it is an ego loss. It cannot be always what you were thinking. Suddenly, as Jupiter shifts from the 7th to the 8th, you get the change happening. Now, will the change immediately happen? It may not. The change may happen in the next year, when again Jupiter goes into its exaltation sign from the month of June. But you'll get a clarity about certain things and certain unknown things, because 8th house is a house of mystery, unknown, unseen. Jupiter, Sun, these kind of planets, when they go over there, it is not about good or bad. It is that you get a clarity over there. You get an inner knowing that yes, this is going to happen. And that is why Jupiter again, after 1.5 months of transit, from here comes back to Gemini in Punarvasu, and you start a new beginning. A change about you is happening. It is a Lagna Lord into the 8th from itself. A change about you, a change about your place of residing or residence, because the Saturn is in the 4th house and Mars is in the 12th house. This is in Trikon to Jupiter. Jupiter is aspecting Mars, Jupiter is aspecting Saturn, and Saturn will go direct by the end of this transit of Jupiter in Cancer. It will come into again 0 degree Pisces. You will start a new process of thinking and generation will happen. You should not buy a house at this point of time or any vehicle. If you want to sell, you can do that, because I can see a change is going to happen in the next following 6 months, from January to May month next year. but this transit is important, and it is a very intuitively blessed transit. Every transit is not about gains and material things. Sometimes you need the divine help in this in certain areas where you cannot see through. That way this transit is a blessing. You can get really good insights. You must spend time to yourself. Be a little lonely at this point of time. Be a little solitary. Whenever a moksha trikona is activated, especially for the Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, it is the moksha houses also, 4, 8 and 12. You must seclude yourself from the crowd. You must think to yourself what is happening and then take the steps forward. You know, it's a great guidance. Yes, it looks a little, you know, I am not getting profit out of it, but this is not, yes, Jupiter aspecting your second house can generate profit. It does also. 8th house Jupiter does generate profit. I've seen legacies, wills, insurances, lot of things. And from the in-laws also, maybe from wife's earning, it can suddenly surge. That can also happen. These things happen with 8th house. 8th house Jupiter is not bad. 8th house, certain planets, they give good result. Not like, I mean, Saturn in a different way. I'll not say it's bad. No planet is bad in that way. Rahu generates a fear. Jupiter is not that. It will give you clarity about the dark area. Mercury, Sun, Jupiter, they somehow in the 8th house, they are able to make the house look better. The house may be scary because we are unable to see in the dark, but these planets who are very flexible in the 8th house, they make the situation a little better than the other planets like Rahu, Ketu being in the 8th, or rather Saturn. So that is, or Mars. So these are difficult planets. But if you have Jupiter, Mercury, Sun transit, especially in the 8th house, they give you certain clarity, especially Jupiter, Sun. Sun is clear. Where it goes, it spreads light. Jupiter is the knowledge. And where the knowledge comes from, you getting intuitive to the knowledge. This is going to happen in the next 6 months. Before it again comes into Cancer. It is a good transit, but in a different way. So use it to the maximum. Some big change in your personality will happen. Some things will be left away. Some things new. This is how the 8th house works. And then you have to carry on the journey forward. So best of luck for the Sagittarius people. Hope this journey, this transit helps in your journey ahead from 2026 onwards. For the Capricorn ascendants, the Jupiter's transit is happening in the 7th house. 7th house, Jupiter is your 3rd and the 12th lord coming into the 7th house. Obviously, the first thing we always understand about partnership is the 7th house, long distance journeys, going to different places, settling out there. Maybe that is what you're looking out for. Yeah, it is a good time for partnership, no doubt about that. Because you may be able to find someone online, because it is the 3rd lord also. And obviously here Saturn is there, you are looking out for somebody, you are the Lagna lord in the 3rd house, and the 3rd lord is coming into the 7th house in its exaltation and aspecting the 3rd house. Now a desire lord Mars is also there in the 11th house, which is also aspected by Jupiter. Now the thing is that here, see, Jupiter, it aspects the Lagna, but because the Drishti is Nicha, maybe you are in a hurry. Don't hurry into things. And Jupiter gives a little bit, see, whenever it's a debilitated Drishti, it gives kind of a false sense of, sometimes it gives a little bit upliftment, which is not true. So be careful of that, whatever is coming into your mind. Otherwise, I always find Jupiter's aspect in its own house very beneficial. And 7th house Jupiter is the glue for the marriage or the partnership. If you're starting something new, which is good, and see, your Lagna Lord is retrograde, it will go direct by the end of November. And again, it will begin from 0 degree Pisces. So something that you had been doing in a way, whatever you have been putting effort into, whatever you were doing in some process, you will change it. Because Jupiter will give the knowledge now how to go on with the process forward. So that is how Punarvasu also is, because Punarvasu is a nakshatra of newness. Again, at beginnings at different level. This 2 months or 1.5 months you can take this Jupiter, Saturn, Mars in trine in your Kama Trikon, it will generate lot of memories attached to your desires, and those desires will be quite profound at this point of time, because you know Jupiter expands things. You can your health can also get a little bit of expansion to the lower area of the body, you know, look after that. And also Jupiter aspects the 11th house, with the 11th lord being there in these 1.5 months after Diwali. I've given the dates in the preface, we'll look into that. So this will generate some wealth also. You may have to move 7th house, because I see 7th house as movement into towards distant foreign lands also, and it is a 12th lord also coming into the 7th. So it may happen that you are going for a marriage and you have to move them, and you have to go through quite a bit of transformation, because the 12th lord, being the 12th lord, it is 6th from itself, 6-8 combination of Sagittarius and Jupiter in exaltation. So the Sagittarius area will go for a change. The 7th area is definitely getting the blessing of Jupiter, and also the 3rd house, its own house where your Lagna Lord is, Jupiter is aspecting that area, and you can start now putting effort in a better understood way. You know, that is very important. We all try to put effort, but wherever we are putting the effort, is it understood properly? That is what is very important. When Jupiter aspects his own sign or friendly sign, it gives the right direction. That is the Guru. And so take the advice of, if any person is guiding you towards your efforts in whichever area you're putting, money will be generated. One desire fulfillment is bound to happen with Mars in the 11th house aspected by Jupiter, which desire which you had been putting effort. Maybe it can be land related issues, maybe it can be real estate things, the 4th lord into the 11th house, and also the 3rd lord aspecting it. So that can happen, that can very much happen. So these things, it's a good transit, no doubt about that. But obviously Jupiter will come back to the 6th house again by the end of the year, and again you have to start certain things in a new way. Then again Jupiter goes back in the 7th house by 1st of June. The second journey of Jupiter in exaltation will begin. So as you know, Jupiter is a fast moving planet. If you are running the dasha of Jupiter or Saturn, things can feel a little haywire at times, because Saturn is sitting in the sign of Jupiter. Understand that, understanding that you will be able to mitigate or understand your journey forward in a better and easier way. Nonetheless, this transit is good. No doubt about that. I'm a bit worried about Capricorn ascendants with the Rahu and Ketu, special Ketu in the 8th house. So be wary of your health. Sometimes Jupiter gives that issue also for the Capricorn people. As you know, it has an debilitated drishti on the Lagna, which is the 12th lord also. Take care of your health, please. Aquarius people, Aquarius Lagna, Jupiter will come into exaltation in the 6th area. And this is a totally professional money transit. Jupiter being in the 6th, Mars being in the 10th, your Lagna Lord being in the 2nd house. So obviously it can be betterment in your professional area, money flowing in, which were stuck, you get something new, or you promise something new which can happen start new year. You have to, modify certain things. As Jupiter goes back again to Gemini, new set of people will come into your life, because this is the 11th lord coming into the 6th house. Money from foreign sources can also come. 11th lord is now going 8th from itself. A new set of people can enter your life, which is a change in your networking area, or you need to change the networking area. This transit says that also. Jupiter in 6th house can give some health issues. It can definitely give, especially a little bit flatulence, little bit cough and all these things. Watery sign Jupiter aspecting Mars in the 10th house. If you have a good dasha, you can definitely generate some name fame at this point of time in your professional front. You are noticed, you are in the limelight, I may say. And Saturn will go direct, and Saturn will come into 0 degrees Pisces by the end of November, again begin its journey. So now you take on a new journey with the Artha Trikon, Jupiter, Saturn, Mangal, and it will give you money, no doubt. It's a money oriented and profession oriented transit mainly. And competitive, yes. Why? Because see, whenever planets are in Trikon, they have to support each other, and that is what Mars is, a friend of Jupiter. Saturn will also support Jupiter being in Trikon. Any competition this year or next year, 1st of June onwards, you'll be able to nail it. It's a good transit overall. Especially those who are looking for employment will be able to strike a deal definitely. And because Jupiter is aspecting owns, whenever Jupiter comes into the 6th house, it is good for employment purposes. 10th, 2nd, 6th, Artha Trikon Jupiter. But when Jupiter comes into the 6th house, you are hired for, you know, you are a counselor hired for, advisor hired for, and Jupiter is aspecting its own house Pisces, where your Lagan Lord is sitting. So this is money generating transit, and Mars being in the Trikon also now, the 10th Lord being in 10th, obviously you'll put effort in the right direction. It's a good transit overall, Aquarius. Make good, you know, you will make good use of it, yeah. Pisces ascendant, Lagna Lord Jupiter getting exalted in the 5th house. Oh, what a relief. What more do you need? Saturn being in the pressure cooker situation on the Lagna, Jupiter will aspect that Saturn, moving from the 4th to the 5th. The Lagna Lord in the 5th house, you're in exaltation, and your 10th Lord also. A promotion can be thing, but things can change because it's 8th from Sagittarius, 10th house. So you may change your job, you can get a promotion, your name fame can increase, you are blessed, you can feel great, you go for a new you embark on a new studying schedule. All these things are part of it, as your fortune lord Mars is also in the 9th house. So what else do you need? It is a good break for you, right? Saturn being on the Lagna, you had been quite perturbed by that. So now Jupiter is aspecting that Saturn on the Lagna, and you will feel a renewed sense of yourself. I know, I understand, Saturn being on the Lagna is not easy. Saturn loses its Digbala. Saturn being Saturn creates a very heavy pressure related situation on the Lagna, as if there is no way out. You fizzle out in the process, you tend to. But this is a quick relief, you know, when the Lagna Lord comes into the 5th house exalted. Great transit. These kind of transits are the best blessing from the Guru. Jupiter is like Amrit water, you know, Ganga Jal sprinkled to your Lagna. You will feel a renewed sense of good being. Your progeny can do good, and you feel blessed. And please go for yatras if you want to go. This is a very good time to earn some good blessings. Great time for blessings, yes, from long distance journeys and all this. All in all, it's very good, Pisces ascendants, and this is a 1.5 month transit. Later again, you'll have a Kendra Jupiter again from January 2026 to May. Again Jupiter will come into exaltation. So lot of problems that you had been going through because of Saturn being in the 12th and then on the Lagna will get sorted out. Nothing can be better than that. So it's a great transit. Nothing more I can say about it. Whether it gives you status, fame, money, all these things is different, but it's such a spiritually enlightened transit. You can glow in the process, you know, that kind. So I hope just you're running a better dasha, but still also if you're having a rough dasha also, Jupiter will still bless you and make you feel better. Thank you. Have a good day. This was the transit of Jupiter, Saturn, Mars in the Trikon. That will happen very soon next month. So hope we end the year with this grand transit of the mighty 3 planets in the Trikons. Later, I'll come up with better videos. Take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.